gentlemen, happy St. Patty's Day. It is that day. It's a biggie in our house. It really is. I'm married to a very Irishman. Amazingly, I seem to have married the only teetotaling Irishman on the face of the planet. Kid you not. And it's amazing to me that a lot of times when I say to someone, my husband doesn't drink, they automatically in their heads add the words, anymore. Like, oh, he's got a problem. No, no. The man has had 2 drinks in his entire life and decided he just didn't like it. Didn't like the taste. I have not disabused him of the notion that there are other things out there. Why mess with a good thing? But it was funny, I got to tell you, 25 years ago when we got married, the one symbolism I wanted in my marriage ceremony was where we both drink out of a wine glass and then wrap it in a napkin and the husband stomps it. I love the symbolism of that. I really do. It took me, I kid you not, oh honey, I'm telling stories on you. It took me 2 hours to convince this 6'3" grown-ass man that if he took a sip or two of wine, he would be okay to drive home. Hand to God. It was the most hysterical thing, which is really good because I was having panic attack on panic attack on panic attack at the day, so it kind of took my mind off things just trying to get him to drink a little wine. But, as they say, in the odd sod, top of the morning and the bottom of the day to you too. I'll tell you. Now, there's an old Irish blessing. It's very big in our family. And I'm going to read it because it's 4 stanzas and I don't want to say it wrong. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warmly upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. May God be with you and bless you. May you see your children's children. May you be poor in misfortune, rich in blessings. May you know nothing but happiness from this day forward. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the warm rays of the sun fall upon your home. And may the hand of a friend always be near. And may the green grass that you walk on, and green may be the grass you walk on. May blue be the skies above you. May pure be the joys that surround you. May true be the hearts that love you. I like that. I think it's very, very nice. Although there is just something in my little redneck upbringing. I think poetry should rhyme. I'm not big on haiku either. Don't get it. Some of it's lovely, but it doesn't seem poetry. Now, this is one that I've always liked. May love and laughter light your days and warm your heart and home. May good and faithful friends be yours wherever you may roam. May peace and plenty bless your world with joy that long endures. May all life's passing seasons bring the best to you and yours. I mean that. That's from a very Irish family to yours. It's St. Patrick's Day. There are good things about St. Patrick's Day. There are bad things about St. Patrick's Day. One of the bad things being that one of the guests I had lined up for the second hour apparently partied a little too hardy last night and is not feeling quite himself, shall we say. I got to give him credit. I can't be too upset with him. It was his birthday. I got to tell you, we went and found a place I've never heard of. I've never heard anybody talking about it. I've never seen it online in downtown Bremerton. And believe me, nobody's paying me to say this, okay? I mean this. I think it's 602 4th Street. There's a white wall with a couple of windows and a little plaque. And you got to get up on top of it to see that the little plaque says Mobster Mike's. Oh, my gosh. We went there. That's where we had the birthday party. My husband and I thought, well, while we're here, we'll have some dinner. We haven't been here before. And we both ordered a New York steak that was not $19.95 a plate, amazingly. And I got to tell you, it was one of the best steaks. And we both say this. One of the best steaks we've ever had. It was, oh, my God, I want to go back and get another one now. It's that good. Tender, juicy, flavorful. Never frozen. That's a big help. Really good. But I'll just tell you, nobody's paying me to say this. It's not a plug or anything like that. But I think if you find something really awesome where you live, it's local. Shop local. Support local. Come on. Give it a try. Because I'm telling you, that steak was better than anything I've ever gotten at Outback. I kid you not. It was awesome. Now, hope y'all had a great week. Having a great weekend. Little rainy, little cold. One of the main things St. Patrick's Day is supposed to denote, as it were, is that spring is right around the corner. And not in my house. It's cold in my house. It is wet at my house. Thankfully, knock wood, I don't have snow at my house, but it is cold and wet. But that's what they say. Now, have you ever wondered who St. Patrick was? I mean, we all grew up in school hearing, St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland, blah, 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 blah. No. That's sort of a legend that sprung up, and it's fun to tell little kids, and it gets passed along, and people believe it. Just out of curiosity, I looked up why we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I mean, it seems like the only thing I could do for my husband, being as Irish as he is. Apparently, the man who was canonized as St. Patrick by the Catholic Church was born to a wealthy family in 387 A.D. in Kilpatrick, Scotland. Now, his real name was Maewyn Succat. Maewyn Succat. Patrick's better. Just saying. It was his extensive missionary work in Ireland for which he was famous. During the 30 years of work there, he supposedly converted over 135,000 people, established 300 churches, and consecrated 350 bishops. Now, he died on March 17th, 461 A.D. That was a long time ago, people. That was a long time ago. Now, history records that St. Patrick, at age 16, was captured by Celtic raiders. Now, Celtics were the pagan population of Ireland before the Catholics came in and decided to, fix them. Yeah. But he spent several years as a slave in Ireland. It was during this time that he learned the various rituals, customs, and language of the Celtic Druids. It was these people that he eventually converted to Catholicism. Apparently, he had a dream in which God spoke to him saying, "Your ship is ready." St. Patrick was then able to escape by ship back to Britain. Shortly thereafter, he experienced another dream in which he received a letter which claimed to be the voice of the Irish. Voice of the Irish. When he opened it, he heard the voices of all those who he had met in Ireland begging him to return. This is the legend. This is the story. St. Patrick then began a course of study to become ordained a bishop in the Catholic Church and returned back to Ireland to establish the church there. Though the task was difficult and dangerous, he persisted and was able to build a strong foundation for Christianity. The Irish people were very receptive to his teachings, especially in light of the fact that he was able to take several of the Celtic symbols and Christianize them. This was a very common, almost like scam, that every religion on the face of the planet that ever tried to convert other religions to them have done. Now, what this holds, or what this means, is that certain symbols that the Celtics held as sacred and important to them, he turned them around and made them seem Christian, Rather than outlawing them or banning them, they adopted them. Now, the most prominent of these is a green shamrock, which is a certain type of clover. He used this plant, which was held sacred by the Druids, as a symbol of the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Additionally, St. Patrick was instrumental. Are you listening, boys and girls? St. Patrick was instrumental in bringing alcohol to Ireland, which eventually had a significant impact on the Irish culture. Do you think? I don't think he converted all those people because he said, well, we'll hold your shamrock as being important and religious to us. No, you come over to us and I got green beer. Who could say no? Seriously, who could say no? Now, every year, millions of people celebrate St. Patrick's Day. It is a national holiday in Ireland. People don't work, but they observe it in worship and family gatherings. In the U.S., the first St. Patrick's Day parade was held in New York on March 17th, 1762. That's how long the Irish in New York City, which is sort of like Little Ireland over there, have been doing this. I wonder when they started dyeing the river. Yeah. But it consisted largely of Irish soldiers in that parade. Now, today, St. Patrick's Day is celebrated by wearing green, which symbolizes the return of spring as well as the Irish culture. Yeah. Also prominent in the celebration is green beer, pointing back to St. Patrick's introduction of alcohol to Ireland. Yay, way to go, St. Pat. And what initially started off as a Catholic holiday became an official feast day in the 17th century. Blah, 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 blah. But I was reading that, and the whole thing, I'm going along, and I'm like, oh, well, okay. Oh, yeah, maybe. Wait a minute. He was instrumental in bringing alcohol to Ireland? These people had potatoes. They had a lot of potatoes right up until the potato famine, which brought most of them over here because they were starving to death. But it makes me wonder, you're going to tell me that at no point had an Irishman ever cut up a potato, put it in a bag or put it in a pot with some water, a little sugar, a little yeast. They made bread just to see what would happen? Wow. Seems kind of odd to me. I don't know, maybe St. Patrick introduced the green to it. No, it says he was instrumental in bringing alcohol to Ireland. Go figure. Well, in the Catholic Mass, back then, you had to drink a little wine with the communion. A little wine, a little bread, cracker, or whatever. Yeah. That's amazing. Now I know why we celebrate St. Patrick. It had nothing to do with snakes. It had everything to do with Guinness. And all manner of drink down from there. I'll tell you. That's amazing to me. I told you, I have very eclectic taste. There's a lot of things I like. There's a lot of things I go, really? Really? I love stuff that makes me go, really? That's amazing. And no, I'm not gullible. Believe it or not. I used to be gullible. Gave it up for Lent one year. Good trick since I'm not Catholic. But anyway, I'm not gullible anymore. But I got to tell you, I was so irked. And since I just happen to have something of a forum to discuss what's irking me, wow, doesn't that work out great? I thought I'd bring it up to you. How many of you, and I know there have been many. Now, you can call me at 253-617-1440. You can go to edgemediasource.com. Join. You can watch the show live and IM me. But I would really like to know how many of you out there have gotten a long white envelope in the mail. And you open it up, and there's a picture of a car going through an intersection with a request for $124. Really? Really? It was a red light camera ticket. Now, a lot of people hate them. Some people say they're necessary. Of course, everybody says they're not a source of income. I don't buy that for a second. Hold on, I dropped my nose. As far as I'm concerned, it really is an income revenue, a revenue generator for the city. I say unless a police officer sees you do something live with his own two eyes and can go into court and say, Your Honor, I lift my hand, I swear in, and I'm telling you, I saw this person do this, you should not be liable. Not because I don't think people should not run red lights or yellow lights or whatever. No. But I'm telling you, they chip away. Now, what I thought was fascinating, fascinating. You gotta love Ohio. Ohio is the birthplace of democracy in this country. As Ohio goes, so goes the country. I'm really hoping on this one anyway. Apparently, an Ohio judge says that Elmwood Place, that's the name of a city in Ohio, that their traffic or speed traffic cameras are a scam. Now, these are speed traffic tickets, okay? They look like the red light cameras that we have with the boxes, but what they're actually doing, they've got radar, and they're telling you how fast. They're sending tickets for how fast you're going. That's even worse as far as I'm concerned. But apparently he says that the town's speed traffic cameras are, quote, a scam, unquote, that cheats drivers out of $105 a pop. This is a judge, a sitting judge. This has never happened before. We've never had somebody who is actually in power, on the bench, come out and say, this ain't right. It just isn't right. Now, apparently, if you happen to drive too fast through Elmwood Place, Ohio, the cards are stacked against you. according to a judge who calls the village's automated speeding camera a scam that motorists can't win. And that's a quote. Hamilton County Common Pleas Judge Robert Ruhlman, and yes, I would vote for this man in a heartbeat, on Thursday ruled that the village's ordinance violated due process. He issued an injunction barring the enforcement of these tickets. Wow. This is the kind of judges we need on our side. No kidding. I'm telling you, we should clone this man or something. Now, speed camera cases have been litigated, but we have not come across one where a judge has said, stop this, according to attorney Mike Allen, whose firm brought the case in court. Now, he told MSN News on Friday this. He said, I think it's going to touch off a firestorm around the country. I really do. And I think it should. I think it should. Granted, the ticket I got in the mail was for a red light ticket. And amazingly, I opened up and I was looking at it and I'm like, why are they sending this to me? It's a white van. I don't drive a white van. My husband doesn't drive a white van. Oh, it clicked. We own a white van that we have let one of our daughters and her husband borrow. So now what we have to do is go to court. And my husband has to testify, hold his hand up and swear on pain of perjury that it was not him driving the van. And it has to be him because he's the one cited in the ticket. He got cited. Oh, my Lord. I told my husband, I said, well, if that's all you have to do, go in and say, Your Honor, it wasn't me driving. Why didn't everybody do this? You would think. And he had a very good point. You do have to sign or swear under oath on pain of perjury that what you're saying is true. You raise your hand, you're sworn in. I'm like, okay, I would not lie under oath. No. Seems like a small thing these days. People are like, no, oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, it is. I know a particular individual right now who's just about to find out how bad that can be. And it ain't me. Aw. Breaks my heart. Some of us know who this is. But I got to tell you, when we've got a judge who's sitting on the bench saying that these sorts of things are not right, they're not fair. I mean, come on. The judge sprinkled colorful language in his ruling, striking down Elmwood's automated speed enforcement program, and they're talking about speed enforcement cameras here as well, which is carried out by, over there, it's OptoTraffic, a Lanham, Maryland-based company, under a contract with the village. Now, OptoTraffic gets 40% of the revenues from fines it collects. 40%, almost half. And the tickets are $105 apiece. How long would it take of getting ticket after ticket after ticket after ticket after ticket before you had a tidy sum? But no, it's not an income generator. Nobody said it's income generator for the city. They get some of it. They're not going to turn it down. They're happy enough. The company that oversees it, they get some of it. They're happy. Go figure. It's just wrong. I'm telling you. It says, according to the judge, he said, remember that OptoTraffic has a financial stake in the game. I use the term game because Elwood Place is engaged in nothing more than a high-tech game of three-card Monte, the judge wrote emphatically. It is a scam that motorists can't win. Oh, I love this man. 13 states have speed cameras in operation, while 12 states have passed laws prohibiting them, according to the Governor's Highway Safety Association. Many more states have red light cameras in operation, besides just Ohio. It's pretty common. There's a lot of protest. There's controversy over the cameras everywhere that they exist, and demands for the mayor to step down in this town, Elwood Place, and calls to boycott the village. I wouldn't blame him. What do you think? Give me a call. We'll be back right after this. It's The Raw Nerve. I'm Susan Corcoran. See you in a minute.
Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft, to parts and service and apparel. Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs. And they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 1st Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
Hey, it's Kevin with the Outlaw Radio Network. When it came time for the guys with Outlaw Radio to get our tuxes for the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County's Raise the Roof event, we honestly had no idea where to get them. Then we found Judy at Judy's Sewing in East Bremerton. As evidenced by the name, Judy's Sewing does tailoring, alterations, and repair. She also does tuxedo rentals starting at $69, bridal party dresses for $69, and bride's dresses starting at only $189. Plus, we also learned that at Judy's Sewing, not only does she offer military members prices that are lower than they're going to find at the Navy Exchange, she also prioritizes their orders. That means if you're in the military, your needs move right to the front of the line. It's a special touch of service you can only get from a locally based business like Judy's Sewing. Judy's Sewing at the corner of Fairgrounds Road in Central Valley in East Bremerton, right near Handy Andy's. Or call Judy at 360-662-1212. 662-1212. Judy's Sewing, a local business that's proud to support her community.
Did you know volunteering with the Bremerton Central Lions Club can be fun? Community services for everyone. Young people, families, men, women. As a volunteer, you'll help your community and gain valuable skills, network with others, energize your life, make an impact, and have fun. Get in step with your community and volunteer. Visit us at bremertoncentralwa.lion.wap.org.
Hey, it's K-Dog with the Outlaw Radio Network to tell you about Rachel's on the East Side, but instead of sharing what I think, let me tell you what your Kitsap neighbors have posted online at urbanspoon.com when they were asked what they thought about Rachel's on the East Side. Charlie wrote, delicious. So happy to finally have some great food in Bremerton. Sally wrote, my husband and I absolutely love this restaurant. It's quickly become our favorite. LT wrote, local microbrews, awesome pizza, free Wi-Fi, and friendly service. Rachel's has all this and much more. Lastly, AF22 simply says, hands down, the best food on the peninsula. With a full menu including pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more, Rachel's on the East Side is a great place to enjoy a romantic night out with the one you love. It's also a great place to take the whole family out for a great family dinner. Rachel's also has outdoor seating, so find out what everyone in Bremerton is talking about at Rachel's on the East Side. 1217 Sylvan Way in Bremerton. Open 7 days a week at Rachel's on the East Side.
Getting married, entertaining clients, or maybe you're just having a bash with your friends. No matter the occasion, make sure you plug into the tunes with E&M Entertainment. There are tons of DJs out there, but how many of them want to get to know you beforehand so they can play your soundtrack at your event at your kind of price? It's more than just a great selection. E&M plays your great selection, and that makes all the difference. So call 425-971-8078. That's 425-971-8078 for E&M Entertainment.
Hi, this is Kingston Girl, your go-to girl for news, people, places, and events in Kitsap County and beyond. I'm your source for all the information about the biggest events in Kitsap County and hotel reviews nationwide. Plus, check out my blog for my latest travel advice about the places you gotta see. Follow me on Facebook by searching for Kingston Girl, on Twitter at Kingston Girl New, and on my blog at kingstonGirly.blogspot.com, and find out what you have been missing out on.
Toad House Pizza Pub at 1405 McWilliams Road isn't just a pizza place. It's the feel of an authentic East Coast pizzeria pub right in East Bremerton. From gourmet pizza to salad, Toad House Pizza Pub is an experience like no other. With over 120 beers on hand, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Toad House Pizza Pub, a family restaurant offering dine-in, outdoor seating, or just take out. Toad House Pizza Pub, a pizza pub like no other.
And welcome back, everybody. How y'all doing on this Sunday? St. Patty's Day. Faith and Bogota. It's great. We're going to have I am going to have my corned beef and cabbage tomorrow night. I say I because you know who has to cook it. But it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm a little busy tonight, so I couldn't do it. And the kids are so upset. Oh, well. Get over it. Now, I like to think I have a sense of humor. I really do. I can take a joke. I can take somebody making fun of me. I can take somebody, being just stupid. I was blown away. You've got to go to YouTube. You've got to. I wish I had this. I would run it for you. There's a video.
How long is it? We can run it if you want to.
I don't know if the boys are going to talk about it.
No.
That's the problem. So we'll go past that right now. But it is hysterical. Go to YouTube, look it up. It's North Korea, American poverty. It's a what do you call it? Propaganda video. It is the funniest thing. Oh my God, I roared. I had tears running down my leg. It was so funny. I kid you not. This is a video that the North Korean government, the ones that want to, bathe Washington D.C. in a lake of fire. If only they could find a fuse that long. Yeah. But they put this video out to show their people what life in America is really like. Yeah. Like how all of our buildings blow down very easily. So most of us are homeless. So sad. Did you know that American people get 1 cup of, I kid you not, snow coffee? Because we have a lot of snow in America. Apparently we're all in the Arctic Circle or something. But we get 1 cup of snow coffee a day. And boy, do we look forward to it. And they even have an image of people sitting on what look like blue garbage bags to me. And the narrator says that they are actually blue body bags with bodies of our comrades that we sit on while we drink our snow coffee because there are so many of them. I kid you not. It is so hysterical. You've got to see this. Now, I understand propaganda. Propaganda has been around since they've ever just developed. One side has one opinion, the other side has another opinion. Forever. Cavemen probably had their own form of propaganda. Cro-Magnons versus Neanderthal. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's never going to go away. It's hands down one of the more kind of insidious techniques that governments use. Because on one hand, if it's done right and it's done well, you actually can sway the hearts and minds of millions. You really can. Look at Hitler. Let's not. However, you got to do it right. And this is so far from right, it's not even funny. We all sleep on the floor because, most of us are homeless. It's just amazing to me. It's amazing. I love it. You've got to look at this video. But when he got to the snow coffee, and we're only allowed 1 cup a day, I'm like, honey, I got friends on Facebook that will cut you if you take the coffee away before 5 or 6 cups, okay? I'm one of them. Don't mess with me in the morning. I am not a nice person in the morning before I have coffee, and I will cut you. Yes, I need my coffee. But I got to tell you, the things they're telling their people is absolutely mind-boggling. I think, I'm not positive, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think the guys in the next show, Outlaw Radio Network with K-Dog and St. Paul, I think they might be going to discuss it or show it or whatever. And I didn't want to run it back to back, but I got to get my opinion in. I've got to get my opinion in this. I read that and I thought my head was going to explode. I watched this video. But I'm telling you now, go ahead, go to you're on the computer now. Pull up YouTube. Watch it. You know what they're talking about. It's hysterical. Oh, my God. Now, you can call me at 253-617-1440, and I will talk to you. Yes, I will, because I'm just nice that way. You can IM me if you go to edgemediasource.com. Sign in. I got a little window up here. Supposedly, it's supposed to pop up there, and somebody wants to say something to me. But I got to tell you, in the second hour, and it's going to be not quite what I had envisioned this week, because one of the guests that I had set up for next hour, as I said at the top of this hour, is not feeling himself today on St. Patrick's Day, the day after his birthday party. Yeah. So I will have words with the boy later, but not until he's feeling a whole lot better. I'll be that nice. How's that? But we're going to be having an interesting conversation. I'm hoping, I have not heard otherwise at this point, but I'm hoping that Trojo, who you probably recognize if you watch Outlaw Radio Network and the fourth hour that's splintered off to the last call from 10 to 11, Trojo sets in often. And my point was to find people that I knew, because if I know you, I probably know something about the situation going on, who are dealing with the issue of grandparent rights, parental rights or grandparent rights. And that's what we're going to talk about in the second hour. I had a request to discuss this. And I got to tell you, it is a real mixed bag. It really is. It's a mixed bag. We're going to get into it in the second hour, but I want to give you a heads up of what's coming in, and hopefully Trojo will be here with his war stories as well. I mean, I've got a couple of my own, but man, I'll tell you, depends on which side of the fence you're standing on, I'm telling. I'll show you why when we get there. Now, like I said, I love things that make me go, huh? I love bringing you stuff that you may not have known about and maybe hadn't heard about, because it's not all over the news, even though sometimes I don't know why it's not all over the news. This is phenomenal to me. This is absolutely amazing. In London, a donated human liver, has been kept alive, warm and functioning outside of a human being on a newly developed machine, and then successfully transplanted into patients in a medical world first. Do you have any idea how huge that is? We lose, in this country alone, almost 3,000 livers a year that have to be thrown away because something happens that they couldn't get it there quick enough, or they couldn't get it there in good enough shape for the surgeon to feel comfortable about transplanting it. This is amazing to me. It really is. A British team of doctors, engineers, and surgeons announced the achievement on Friday, saying it could be common practice in hospitals across the developed world within just a few years, up to doubling the number of livers available for transplant. And this would include the most common recipients of livers for things other than disease process, like cirrhosis or whatever, babies. Babies who are born with a compromised liver or bile system and are in dire need of transplants. It's phenomenal. I'm so tickled. I really am. Now, so far, the procedure has been performed on 2 patients on Britain's liver transplant waiting list, and both are making excellent recoveries, according to the medical team at a news conference. It was astounding to see initially cold gray liver flushing with color once it was hooked up to our machine and performing as it would if it were within the human body. Wow, this is according to a professor of biomedical engineering at Oxford University and one of the machine's co-inventors. Now, in case you're not aware of the fact, if you're a medical person and you are a professor at Oxford, you know your stuff. You're real smart. Oh, wow, Oxford. Yeah, it kind of impressed me, can you tell? What was even more amazing to me was to see the same liver transplanted into a patient who is now walking around, recovering, doing well. Now, currently, livers destined for transplant are kept on ice. We've all seen the little ice box igloo coolers they carry around. Yep. This is a process which cools them down to slow down their metabolism and does not keep them functioning as they would inside a human body. It just tries to prevent cell degeneration. That's all they're trying to do with that. Get it cold, slow down the metabolism, prevent cell deterioration. Because a deteriorated celled liver does not transplant well, I guarantee you. Now, surgeons say keeping livers on ice beyond 14 hours starts becoming risky, although they can last up to 20 hours, which is good because there's such a demand, there's such a need for these livers that they are flown sometimes halfway around the world trying to get to somebody who really needs it, say it's a really rare one. It's amazing. Now, hepatitis infection, alcohol abuse, and drug-induced cholestasis, which is a blockage of the flow of bile from the liver, can all cause liver failure. Some patients with liver cancer can also benefit from the transplant. About 13,000 liver transplants are carried out each year in Europe and the United States, but there's a combined waiting list of around 30,000 people right now on any given day who need a new liver. 30,000 people. Oh my Lord, that's a lot of people. Experts say up to a quarter of these patients die while they're waiting on the list. At the same time, more than 2,000 livers are discarded every year because they're either damaged by oxygen deprivation or do not survive the cold preservation process. Which, if you think about it, that makes sense. If you take a human cell and you freeze it, it expands because it grows ice crystals inside of it. The ice crystals are sharp, they puncture the cell wall, the cell is no longer viable. So this is why we can't keep livers and organs that are on the transplant list to be transplanted. We can't leave them on ice for very long, as short a period as possible. Now, there's new technology developed by Couscous, I kid you not, together with Peter Friend, director of Oxford Transplant Center, preserves the liver at body temperature and perfuses it, supplying with oxygenated red blood cells to keep it alive. Now, this device is the very first completely automated liver perfusion device of its kind. These first clinical cases confirm that we can summon or support human livers outside the body, keep them alive and functioning on our machine, and then hours later successfully transplant them into a patient. Now, the reason this is amazing, one of the reasons, there are a lot of reasons why it's amazing, people don't realize that very often you can get 2 livers for transplant out of 1 donated liver. Amazing. This is the reason they have something called live donation. That's, you need a new liver. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your cousin, your brother, whoever is a good match for you. They take you in. They're not going to kill your mother, your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousin, whatever. They're not going to kill them, take the liver out. No. They take out a portion of the liver, and that's what they implant into you. They transplant that into you. Over time, both livers will grow and achieve about the same size they were before. It's amazing what the human body can do when called upon. So you figure for every liver that's donated out there, they can save maybe 2 people with this new process. And I think that's phenomenal. I really do. My hat's off to these guys. I say Nobel Prize. They've earned it. I really do. A lot of people are, I'll say, squeamish about being organ donors, which is going to be a topic of an upcoming show here, actually. We're going to talk about why people do and do not want to be organ donors. But the people who do want to be organ donors, this gives you the chance to step up and do even twice as good of work. Twice as good. I think it's phenomenal. Here. I told you, I like things that make me go, I did not know this. Now, the reason you see me reading all this stuff is because, unlike on television, I don't have a teleprompter. Believe me, those guys are reading. This is phenomenal to me. This is absolutely, anybody who thinks CPR is a joke, CPR, what's the point? I see somebody drop down, why should I bother? We saw the nurse that didn't want to bother giving that poor woman CPR in her facility. This is why it's so flipping bloody important. A Georgia mother says that her infant son is alive today because of 2 neighborhood boys. They're aged 9 and 10. Now, they showed her how to perform CPR when her 12-week-old baby suddenly stopped breathing. Susanna Rome, who lives in Marietta, Georgia, told NBC affiliate WXIA in Atlanta that she noticed something was off about her young son, Isaiah, on the frightening day last week. The boy had stopped responding to her and gone limp, and when Rome put her finger under his nose, she realized he wasn't breathing. She ran outside and yelled for someone to call 911. For the love of God, if you have a baby, please go learn to do CPR. It's worth your time. The two boys were playing football, and 9-year-old Rocky Hurt and 10-year-old Ethan Wilson rushed to her help her. Rome said she was panicking, splashing water on the baby's face and trying to do CPR. The boy stopped her. I told her to push on the baby's chest 5 to 10 times with only 2 fingers, tilt back the baby's head, plug the baby's nose, and breathe into the baby's mouth. That's what Rocky told the news station. Rome says the boy said it so confidently that she listened to him right away. Within seconds, the baby started screaming. I told her that's a good sign because the baby's breathing, according to Rocky. Bless his heart. Paramedics arrived a short time later. Rome told another Atlanta TV station, WAGA, that the baby spent 2 nights in the hospital, was diagnosed with sleep apnea, and is being watched by doctors. According to WAGA, the scare happened last Monday, and Rowan says she's never met the boys before. They live near her in Marietta, which is outside of Atlanta. The boys said that they learned CPR from posters in the cafeteria at their school, Sedalic Park Elementary School. We just wanted to know in case it happened, Ethan said, but we never knew that we'd ever have to do that. Now, I dare you to tell me that's not phenomenal. A 9 and 10-year-old boy did what a grown-ass woman couldn't do. That's amazing. And they just learned it off looking at the posters in their lunchroom. It ain't hard. It ain't hard to do. It's really not. It doesn't require a whole lot of effort, especially if you have somebody else there with you willing to, help. Compressions get a little tiring. I know. I've done them. But I got to tell you, as a former firefighter EMT for 8 years in this county, I know how phenomenal what these boys did is. And it is phenomenal. And the fact that these were neighborhood boys just out front in their house playing football, and she'd never met them, it's a sad testimony to our neighborhoods anymore. Nobody knows anybody. Great example right here. Your neighbor, who you don't want to go there and knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you," that just might save your life someday. Or their kid might. Think about it. It boggles my mind every time I think about it, that these kids not only were willing to do what they learned off the poster, I can't believe I'm saying that, but they learned off the poster, but they were right. They remembered it properly. And the mom was able to bring the baby back. Now that's, to me, pretty phenomenal. And a lot of people can say, oh, well, sleep apnea, baby stops breathing. Sometimes you just flick them on the bottom of the foot or something, they start breathing again. This is true. But I guarantee you that if mom is panicking and splashing water in her baby's face and it's not making the baby start to breathe again, it's a little more serious than just, we need to flick its foot to get it breathing again. So I'm thinking there's a 12-year-old little baby boy named Isaiah out there that owes a debt of gratitude to 2 little boys. And I really hope that mom pays it. Just boggles my brain. I love stuff like that. I do. I love it when people are willing to go above and beyond, step out of their comfort zone. So few people are willing to do that. That's true. We all have a line in the sand. I'm not sure how it gets there. I'm not sure if we put it there or if that line is a product of our environment, our upbringing. But we all have a line that says, no, I will go this far. I will not step over this. I wonder how it gets there. And I'm telling you, wonderful things in this world don't happen unless you're the kind of person who's willing to step over that line and say, well, let's see what happens if we do this. And I'm not saying be, hurtful and mean and nasty and horrible and that sort of thing. I'm just saying step out of your comfort zone. I guarantee you the doctors who invented this perfusion machine to keep a liver alive outside the body when nobody's ever done it before, I'm pretty sure that's outside their comfort zone. Pretty sure. Thank goodness they're willing to step over that line and see what they could do. Someday it may just save your life. It may save mine. Go figure. Now, like I said, in the next hour, we're going to be talking about parent and grandparent rights. Just to give you a little heads up here, I want you to look at things from a parent's point of view. If you are a parent, that you've never done anything wrong, you've never been in trouble with anybody, and the courts come to you and say, okay, you have to do this with your child, no matter how you feel about it, and you have no recourse. You must obey. How would you feel? On the flip side of that coin, if you're a grandparent, I want you to look at it that the courts come to you and say there's absolutely nothing you can do in your grandchild's life. You have no voice, you have no recourse, you have no ability to say, this is my grandchild and I love them desperately and I don't want to be out of their lives. Yeah. It's kind of a catch-22 if you look at it that way, isn't it? This is what we're going to be talking about. I tell you, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And this week I've been researching this topic, and I've come to the conclusion I'm very glad that I had 3 daughters. And in the state of Washington, it is considered a mother state. They side with the mother. Because I'll tell you, I couldn't imagine the horror it would be to be on the other side, that my son's ex-wife won't let me see the grandkids, won't let me talk to the grandkids, won't let me send them presents. Nothing. Cut out completely. Cold turkey. Boom. Wow. Hateful and hurtful. Yeah. That's what we're going to be talking about in the next hour. And hopefully, Troja's going to get here because we're going to talk about his experience along these lines that he's been dealing with. And I'm asking anybody, please call 253-617-1440 if you have an experience, if you've been through something like this, if you've been, hung up to dry, so to speak, with no help out there. Yeah. Give me a call. Give me a call. I want to find out what people are thinking out there. It's a hard one. It's a hard one. And parents have no idea what it feels like to be a parent, just like you never had any idea what it feels like to be a parent until you became one. Go figure. Go figure. Now, you're listening to The Raw Nerve right here on edgemediasource.com. You can go to the website. You can log in and you can watch it live. You can IM me over on the corner. If you log in, you can send me messages. I will talk to you about what they says. I'm not going to IM you back because, frankly, I'm not that computer savvy at this point yet. I'm getting better. But it's fascinating, and I really appreciate having this opportunity to be able to come on the air, the internet, talk about things that absolutely make my blood boil, and some things do. Some things just absolutely do, and they should. And I think if people don't know about these things that make you angry, how is anybody going to ever change anything? True? True. It's pretty simple, if you ask me. So we're going to be taking a break here in a minute. At the top of the hour, we're going to have the news break. And when I come back, hopefully I will be with Trojo. If not, or even if so, feel free to call me, 253-617-1440. We'll talk then. Back in a minute.
NPR News in Washington, I'm Barbara Klein. 2 high school football players in Steubenville, Ohio, have been found guilty today of raping a 16-year-old girl last summer. Tim Rudell of member station WKSU reports.
The judge found the 2 juvenile defendants delinquent in the sexual assault. He sentenced one, who was 17, to a minimum 2 years incarceration. The other, who was 16, got a 1-year minimum. Before the sentencing, the victim's mother read a statement including this for the defendants.
Human compassion is not taught by a teacher, a coach, or a parent. It is a God-given gift instilled in all of us. You displayed not only a lack of this compassion, but a lack of any moral code. Your decisions that night affected countless lives, including those most dear to you.
Ohio's Attorney General now says he wants a grand jury to look into possible charges against others in the case. For NPR News, I'm Tim Rudell.
The Swiss government is calling for a speedy investigation into the alleged gang rape of a Swiss tourist in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. The woman was on vacation with her husband. The BBC's Andrew North reports several suspects are under arrest.
Police have detained at least 20 villagers in the rural forested area where the Swiss woman was allegedly gang raped after her husband was beaten and tied up. And they say 5 have now confessed to taking part. Officers have also reportedly recovered some belongings stolen from the couple after raiding nearby villages. Conscious of the effect on India's international image, already battered by the gang rape of a Delhi student last year, the authorities are under pressure to resolve this case quickly. It's getting front-page coverage in the Indian media, and the Swiss embassy has called for a swift investigation.
The BBC's Andrew North. The long-battered housing market is showing signs of life. Foreclosure sales are down almost 30% from last year. Home sales and prices are climbing. As Danielle Carson reports, analysts expect housing data due out this week will reflect the improvement.
The numbers on housing starts and existing home sales are expected to show that the growing demand for homes is convincing builders to step up production. In California, residential home construction has shot up an eye-popping 17%. Real estate agent Ed Kaminsky says buying a home now could be considered a secure investment.
There's definitely a little bit more trust in the real estate market right now. People have experienced dramatic losses in the stock market, and it feels like a safe place to put cash.
The real test of the recovery will come with the spring home selling season. March and April will offer a clearer view of how the housing market is shaping up this year. For NPR News, I'm Danielle Carson in Los Angeles.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers in both parties are honing their attacks on each other's budget proposals. The top Democrat on the House Budget Committee, Congressman Chris Van Hollen, calls the Republican plan a hoax. California Republican Kevin McCarthy says the Democrats' proposal isn't balanced and doesn't reduce the deficit. This is NPR. Leaders in Cyprus and Eurozone bankers are meeting to reduce the tax burden on savings accounts that's part of an international bailout package. The EU is requiring the tax in exchange for a bailout of some $13 billion for Cyprus, a radical departure from the terms of aid packages for other countries. The tax on some accounts could be 9% or more. It needs to be ratified by the Cypriot parliament, and in advance of that, account holders are pulling as much cash as they can out of ATMs. Israel has a new defense minister. NPR's Larry Abramson reports it's one of several appointments in the country's newly formed government.
Moshe Ya'alon is 62, a former chief of staff of the Israel Defense Forces and a member of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party. He also served as head of military intelligence and oversaw military operations in the occupied West Bank during the Second Intifada. As chief of staff, Ya'alon resisted Israel's decision to pull out of the Gaza Strip in 2005. Netanyahu also appointed ministers for most of the other positions in the new government he formed on Friday. The list includes as finance minister Yair Lapid, who started a new political party and took the second highest vote total in January's election. Israel's new parliament will be officially sworn in on Monday. Larry Abramson, NPR News, Jerusalem.
The Supreme Court hears arguments tomorrow on an Arizona law that requires residents to provide proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. It's aimed at keeping illegal immigrants from voting. The case could affect 4 other states that have similar requirements: Alabama, Georgia, Kansas, and Tennessee, and several others that are contemplating the law. I'm Barbara Klein, NPR News in Washington.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft to parts and service and apparel, Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs. And they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 First Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
Hey, it's Kevin with the Outlaw Radio Network. When it came time for the guys with Outlaw Radio to get our tuxes for the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County's Raise the Roof event, we honestly had no idea where to get them. Then we found Judy at Judy's Sewing in East Bremerton. As evidenced by the name, Judy's Sewing does tailoring, alterations, and repair. She also does tuxedo rentals starting at $69, bridal party dresses for $69, and bride's dresses starting at only $189. Plus, we also learned that at Judy's Sewing, not only does she offer military members prices that are lower than they're going to find at the Navy Exchange, she also prioritizes their orders. That means if you're in the military, your needs move right to the front of the line. It's a special touch of service you can only get from a locally based business like Judy's Sewing. Judy's Sewing at the corner of Fairgrounds Road in Central Valley in East Bremerton, right near Handy Andy's, or call Judy at 360-662-1212. 662-1212. Judy's Sewing, a local business that's proud to support her community.
Did you know volunteering with the Bremerton Central Lions Club can be fun? Community services for everyone. Young people, families, men, women. As a volunteer, you'll help your community and gain valuable skills, network with others, energize your life, make an impact, and have fun. Get in step with your community and volunteer. Visit us at bremertoncentralwa.lion.wap.org.
Hey, it's K-Dog with the Outlaw Radio Network to tell you about Rachel's on the East Side, but instead of sharing what I think, let me tell you what your Kitsap neighbors have posted online at urbanspoon.com when they were asked what they thought about Rachel's on the East Side. Charlie wrote, delicious. So happy to finally have some great food in Bremerton. Sally wrote, my husband and I absolutely love this restaurant. It's quickly become our favorite. LT wrote, local microbrews, awesome pizza, free Wi-Fi and friendly service. Rachel's has all this and much more. Lastly, AF22 simply says, hands down, the best food on the peninsula. With a full menu including pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more, Rachel's on the East Side is a great place to enjoy a romantic night out with the one you love. It's also a great place to take the whole family out for a great family dinner. Rachel's also has outdoor seating, so find out what everyone in Bremerton is talking about at Rachel's on the East Side. 1217 Sylvan Way in Bremerton. Open 7 days a week at Rachel's on the East Side.
Getting married, entertaining clients, or maybe you're just having a bash with your friends. No matter the occasion, make sure you plug into the tunes with E&M Entertainment. There are tons of DJs out there, but how many of them want to get to know you beforehand so they can play your soundtrack at your event at your kind of price? It's more than just a great selection. E&M plays your great selection, and that makes all the difference. So call 425-971-8078. That's 425-971-8078 for E&M Entertainment.
Hi, this is Kingston Girl, your go-to girl for news, people, places, and events in Kitsap County and beyond. I'm your source for all the information about the biggest events in Kitsap County and hotel reviews nationwide. Plus, check out my blog for my latest travel advice about the places you gotta see. Follow me on Facebook by searching for Kingston Girl, on Twitter at Kingston Girl New, and on my blog at kingstonGirly.blogspot.com, and find out what you have been missing out on.
Toad House Pizza Pub at 1405 McWilliams Road isn't just a pizza place. It's the feel of an authentic East Coast pizzeria pub right in East Bremerton. From gourmet pizza to salad, Toad House Pizza Pub is an experience like no other. With over 120 beers on hand, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Toad House Pizza Pub, a family restaurant offering dine-in, outdoor seating, or just takeout. Toad House Pizza Pub, a pizza pub like no other.
Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft to parts and service and apparel, Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs. And they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 First Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
And welcome back, everybody. Welcome. This is the Raw Nerve. I'm Sandy Sandy. They got me saying it now. They got me saying I don't know my own name anymore. Susan Corcoran. There you go. Susan Corcoran.
Susan.
Yeah. Sometimes I do that in my head now, you know, when I'm getting ready to say it. It's terrible. Welcome, everybody. Welcome on this wet, rainy, cold, very actually Irish St. Patty's Day. Lift a cold one for me, because I'll tell you, I can't have one yet.
It must be the luck of the Irish, and I can't imitate an Irish person at all. But you know, it's okay. I can imitate a leprechaun.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I don't think I want to know. Now I want to tell everybody joining me this hour is good friend Trojo.
Hello.
Who is, you might recognize him from Outlaw Radio Network. The fourth hour, which is now called The Last Call.
The Last Call.
Yep. With K-Dog, the loose cannon, and St. Paul, the voice of
Treason.
Reason?
Treason.
Oh, it's so hard to say that.
St. Paul, the voice of, hi, how you doing?
The voice of the Republican Party. Yeah. In a nutshell. Yeah, well, yeah. Everyone needs a supporter, right? Yeah, athletic or otherwise. Anyway, Trojo is kind enough to come in today because I had one guest. Aaron was going to come in and talk about his experience, and then I was going to have you as well because you have two different sides sort of looking at this. Yesterday was Aaron's birthday, and congratulations, Aaron.
Congratulations. Happy birthday to you, Aaron.
Well, let's just say his birthday last night and St. Patty's today, he's not quite feeling himself.
Probably not able to get up.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Walking is fundamental, and his fundamentals are not functioning at this moment, are they?
Not yet.
Yeah, no.
Not yet. Oh, congratulations, too. I want to tell everybody you just had your baby, 2 weeks ago?
Can I make that announcement?
No.
What?
2 weeks tonight.
No, 2 weeks? Really?
2 weeks tonight, right?
Well,
you were there. You should know better than I do.
Gee, let's see. I wasn't here last weekend. Which would mean as of today, she will be 7 days old.
So 1 week ago.
Yes.
1 week ago. Okay. 1 week. Oh, my Lord. She's still under warranty.
7 days. Hey.
That
you can give back warranties. We don't want to give warranties. We can't warranty, there's no giving back.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This is hands down one of the cutest babies I have seen in a very, very long time. And I've seen a lot of babies. I've worked labor and delivery. I've seen a lot of babies. She is adorable. She is. Now tell her about your name.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I ain't trying that one.
Yeah, okay. So my baby was born, for those who don't know, last Sunday night. And I'm pretty sure everybody got somewhat of a suspicion when I didn't show up at the show last week. So, I went to...
The guys were wondering about that, too. I was watching it at home, and they're like, Trojo's not here. You don't suppose? Nah. He'd have told us.
He'd have told us.
Not.
Yeah, no. But no. So my baby was born last Sunday at 9:53 in the p.m. She weighed 7 pounds, 14 ounces, and she was 19 and a half inches long.
That's a long drink of water.
Yeah. And her name is Jaslyn
Jazzy
Jamaica Faley Dinkins. Now, Jaslyn Jamaica is a hyphenated first name. Faley is derived from my mom and my dad's middle name, and then, of course, my last name. So
I told him and his lady that this poor baby's going to be in high school before she learns how to spell her own name. I mean, this is just what? But she will forever and ever, in my mind, be Jazzy, and she is precious. She is adorable.
I got to tell you, somebody pointed it out the other day when of course, in the hospital room, they write the name up on the board.
Oh, yeah.
We was telling them, explaining to them how to spell it, and they was like, said they got the Jazzlyn pretty well, Jazlyn, Jazzlyn. See, I can't even spell it myself yet.
Ooh, that's bad sign.
And then we put the hyphen, and then they started to spell Jamaica, and they went to write down the J, and was like, no, it's XY. MAICA.
This poor baby.
And they was like,
this poor baby.
It was like, yeah, it's the phonetic spelling.
Some people love their babies, really, truly, deeply love their babies. And then you have people who, we're going to mess with her head for years and years to come.
Hey, could have been a boy named Sue.
Oh, please. Oh, I grew up with that. That was the most awful thing to grow up with. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. I've been saying, and I put it all on my Facebook posts, that I got a request this last week to discuss grandparent rights. Okay. Now, I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of reading, and I've done a lot of thinking. And I know I can honestly say I have 3 daughters. I have 7 blood grandchildren, and I have 2 step grandchildren who in my book are still my grandchildren. And I have 1, I'll say, honorary grandson. He is my oldest daughter's boyfriend's little boy. He's a cute little guy. Little Elliot. He's a cute guy. But I am your typical grandma. I love my grandkids. I absolutely do, except for one, because Idiot Butt, who we've discussed before, got to be in the hospital or the delivery room when my grandson was born.
Spit it out.
I know. He was born C-section, and you can only have one person,
Right.
And Idiot Butt got to be there, not me. But aside from that, I've been present at every birth of every grandchild I've got. And proud of it.
Okay.
In a lot of cases, I was the first person to hold them.
Right.
And I got to tell you, I remember when I had my first daughter, and not at first because you're so tired and I'm so glad this is over, blah, blah, blah. But there's a point. I guarantee you this. There's a point, a few days maybe after you get home, where you're sitting there and you're all alone. You're alone in the house. Everybody's left. You're alone. And you're feeding the baby or you're changing the baby or whatever. And you look at this little face and it hits you. I am responsible for this human being and all things to happen to this baby for the rest of her life. You don't think 18 years, honey. No. And it hits you and I can remember the day it hit me with my oldest daughter, I could not believe you could love somebody that you didn't know yesterday this much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, intellectually, you're going to have a baby. Any day you're going to have a baby. It'll be a new baby. But when it gets there, it's just phenomenal what hits you. You don't realize as a parent what hits you when you're a grandparent and you're watching your baby have a baby and you look at that little face and it's like, oh my God, where have you been all my life?
Right.
And it's phenomenal. It really is. And you don't, as a parent, you don't realize it until you become a grandparent.
Right. Right.
Now, you've had a situation. I'll let you. Let's not get it too much into.
We can't get too much into detail.
Right. Not too much into detail.
Okay. I want to set the scene here. First and foremost, we're here to speak about grandparent rights.
Right.
It's been very well publicized of a situation that has taken place with me and a couple and an individual. So that's not what we're speaking about.
Right.
But what the subject is of tonight is grandparent rights and the lack thereof having rights.
Right.
And in the beginning of everything, I kind of tried to explain to my girlfriend that, hey, look, things are gonna start off rough and rocky. And, somewhere down the line, y'all have got to learn to work together for the betterment of the children.
Children come first.
Because the children do come first. No ifs and buts about it. However, there have been certain issues that have come up while going through some of the cases that we've been going through that we're finding out that grandparents take it like your situation with the C-section. Well, only one person can be in the
Right.
room. Well, guess who's going to get that right? Not the grandparent.
No.
You know, and
on
as
one
a-
hand, I can see
right,
that.
of course.
You know, but on the other hand, I'm like, I was pouting in the corner. I really was.
Yeah, right. You know, it's one of those things you may go in and you may pout about it, but guess what?
You recognize
the
it.
first and foremost, it's going to always come down to the decision of the parents themselves before the actual biological parents.
Right.
The grandparents, now, they have a very, very important part, a very, very important role in the life of help raising and rear the child.
Oh, yes.
Big part, you know, because if we need a break, hey, go to grandparents, you know. And
even
then you
Hillary Clinton, the only, I think, truly intelligent thing the woman said in the White House, said that it takes a village to raise a child. And
Yes.
this is true.
Yes.
You can be a single mom and be all alone and have no support system
Right.
and have a baby. It happens every day. But I guarantee you that a child who has an extended family, whether it's blood or not, of family friends, of moms, of kin, cousins, sisters, brothers, that child grows up with a much richer exposure. We'll say a richer exposure basis.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I think it's sad not to allow a child to have as big an exposure base as possible. I mean, I hate to use a term. It's like socializing a dog. Okay, did I say that? I really did. Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Think about it though. I love my dog. Okay.
Absolutely.
But think about it. I don't mean this literally. Okay, obviously,
you're
I love
supposed
my
to love
babies.
your dog,
I
not
love my babies
love
too.
your dog.
But it would be remiss, and the Humane Society and any dog trainer will tell you that you are doing a disservice to your dog. Not because how many times do you hear it? Socialize your dog. Socialize your
Socialize
dog.
your
Cat,
dog.
or cat or bird or whatever you have.
Right.
Socialize them to as many different people and experiences and outings as possible, so that they don't grow up to be nervous. Okay.
Right. Right.
The same psychologically, the same sort of argument can be made for children. That
Right.
if they go to grandma's, mom and dad get a
Right.
good night's sleep, they go to grandma's, and grandma doesn't do things exactly the same way mommy and daddy does.
Right.
That doesn't mean what she does is wrong.
No.
It's just different. And baby
different.
learns it can be different, and I'm not going to not get fed, and I'm not going to not get a diaper, and I'm not going
Exactly.
to, be left on the car in the car seat, and I'm not grandma drive off. No, it's not going to happen. No. But I think it's important.
Yeah. Now, what I think we need to really establish here is what people understand that it's not. In most situations, like the situation that we're speaking on right now, and yes, I can speak from the personal experience part of it, is when couples divorce,
Oh, yeah.
or they're going through a
They break up.
situation, they break up, and there's a kid involved. Okay, on one aspect, you have the parents of one side that is the grandparents to the child.
Right.
Let's just face it. They are the grandparent to that child, bottom line, period.
The parents from both sides are the grandparents
Exactly.
of that child.
Exactly. The parent, you're right.
Right.
Right. Thank you for correcting me. The grandparents are, and don't make me come over there. All right. The grandparents on both sides are the grandparents in that child life.
Right.
Now you have, unfortunately, one side that wants the grandparents to completely, totally have nothing to do with the child.
No visits, no phone calls,
No visits,
presents,
no phone
nothing.
calls. You don't get anything.
No pictures.
And where the other one, whereas the other one, the grandparents have been an integral part of the life from the start, from
before birth,
and after birth.
There are grandparents out there who their children are their sun and their moon.
Correct.
When they wake up in the morning, they're thinking about their grandbabies.
Correct.
When they go to sleep, they're thinking about their grandbabies. There really, really are people like this. Trust
Correct.
me. And I'll tell you, just to give you a few facts here. According to the last census in 2009, right, 6.2 million is the number of grandparents whose grandchildren younger than 18 lived with them in 2007.
Yep.
6.2 million. Oh my Lord, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
6.6 million is the number of children living with a grandparent in 2008. These children comprise 9% of all the children in the United States. The majority of these children, 4.4, lived in the grandparent's home. Now, every one of my grandchildren, my blood grandchildren, have at one point or another lived in my home. Every one of them. Anywhere from, I think it goes from 1 year to 7 years. So I can tell you right now that if somebody came back and they got a bad breakup or something like this, and the dad got the kids
right,
for some bizarre reason, and then said the grandparent, us as the grandparents could not be a part of their lives,
right.
that would really hurt. That would hurt very, very bad.
Of course it would.
And some people are not mature enough, or they're so immature that they would take pleasure in that.
Right.
Anything I can do to hurt her, anything I can do to hurt her parents or anybody who knows her.
Right. In some instances, you have people that you have one party. You have whether it's the male or the female. You're actually you actually have them trying everything they can to strip away every resource that the other party have to try to break them down and make sure that they absolutely have nothing. So if you can take the kids away, all right. So let's just say if in the situation with your daughter and your daughter's ex, right. If he would have gotten custody of that child and he would have said no grandparent, there's no grandparent visits at all, because he's got complete full custodial rights to make the decision, the 80-90% of the decisions of the child's life. Guess what? You as a grandparent can't do anything. You get zero rights. You absolutely have no voice in what happens right there. Now, from what I'm understanding, you can try to go to court and have some right. rights invoked.
Right.
But until that's done, there's absolutely no voice that you have.
Well, the problem that I'm seeing more than just anybody else is a significant other taking off with the child, whether they have custodial rights for them or not.
Right.
I mean, this is why we get all these Amber Alerts, and we don't get Amber Alerts unless the child is taken
right.
across state lines or
right.
they feel the child is in imminent danger.
Right.
Then they trigger an Amber Alert. Otherwise, it's like, oh, I hope they find that baby.
Right.
Yeah. Because my youngest daughter, her ex, did this with my youngest grandchild with her, my little grandson. And my daughter I raised my children to be mature and intelligent, to be kind, and she does everything she can to make sure that dad gets his visitation and all
right.
this, and bending over backwards, I might say,
correct.
To see to it that he gets his visitation, because we think it's important. Well, dad gets the baby and decides, I'm not bringing him back. I'm telling you, you don't have a lot of resource if they don't leave the state. What we had to go through getting depositions, as many as we could, of people saying that we're good people, we're a good household, we're normal people. We don't,
okay.
worship.
Let's define
Satan
normal. Let's define normal.
We don't worship Satan and sacrifice babies and all this good stuff. We're normal people. We're normal people. And I'll tell you, what's amazing to me is that as of 2000, which wasn't really that long ago, trust me on
just
this.
13 years ago.
That's right. But in 2000, Washington State's visitation laws were dismantled by the U.S. Supreme Court decision in something called Troxel versus Granville, when it ruled that our laws were breathtakingly broad, that's a direct quote, and dictated that those laws unconstitutionally interfered with the fundamental parental rights. Now, this law that they shot down was so broad that anybody, a perfect stranger, could sue the court to have visitation rights to your child, your next door neighbor, your old den leader, whatever. That's wrong. That's wrong. But they shouldn't have just thrown the whole thing out, throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Now, I don't know exactly how accurate that is anymore, because I can tell you this, and I can go back to an old relationship that I used to have, used to be in, with the young lady. And I've spoken.
I'm saying this is the way it was.
Right? Yeah, it's the way it was.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way. Because I know for a fact, as of now, I was engaged to a young lady for about 7 years. All right, we was engaged for 7 years.
Slow mover, huh?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Look, after like the third year, I presented the woman with it was a nice diamond ring. It was nice. I had a great job. It was a nice ring. But again, it was not about the materialistic things. But when we got together, when I first met her, we got together. Her son was already in the world. Her son was 2.5 years old. Father was nowhere in the picture. As a matter of fact, the father was living down in California. So he's really just now starting to get to that point where he wants to bond and attach himself to a male figure. Well, guess what? I came along in his life, and when she finally took him away from me and took him out of my life, he was 12.
Oh no.
Yes. Now,
somebody
imagine
has to be the
this.
adult here.
Now, imagine this. Now, I'm the only father figure that he's known this whole time since he was 2.5.
Right.
He calls me dad. I raised him. I taught him to throw the baseball, football, took him over to Pullman to go to baseball camps, put him in football camps, raised him, spent time with him, taught him to play games, did everything a dad is supposed to do. The main thing I did for him is I loved him.
That's right.
Okay, me and mom split.
Happens.
She absolutely have no other way to hurt me except say you can no longer have any contact with my son.
Right. And you have
and
no
that was her
recourse.
words. And after us being together for 7.5 years, 7.5 years, and me raising, and you know, she finally allowed him to be in my life a little bit after that. Okay, because when she took him away, he was, like I said, he was 12. Excuse me, 10. When this was explained in the courts, the court said, well, you know, y'all never got married, and she never signed rights over, and the dad never signed rights over. Guess what? You absolutely positively have no say-so
You're nothing
in
as
this
far as
kid's
they're
life.
concerned.
Nothing.
Yeah. And that's really wrong. And sadly,
really
that's going
wrong.
on a lot because it's the exception to the rule anymore in our society that couples get married before they have babies.
Right.
I don't know why, but it just happens to be that's the way it is. Now, like I said, that was the way the law was in 2000, okay, and it was struck down by the Supreme Court. Now, Washington State is currently the only state that does not offer grandparents legal recourse to petition for visitation other than as part of a current dissolution, separation, or parenting plan.
That's
so
it.
if you're not married, the best you can do is try to go to court and petition for a separation plan because you're separating after being together so long. Now, the Washington State Supreme Court decision on April 7, 2005 upheld the United States Supreme Court decision and dashed any hope for visitation under those circumstances as well. However, interestingly enough, according to the revised code of Washington State, a grandparent who is denied access to his grandchild can petition the court for visitation if 1, the child's parents are separated or divorced, the parent is incarcerated, or the parent is deceased.
Correct.
Now, the courts will award visitation if they find it's in the best interest of the children, because that's what they do. Now, in determining if grandparent visitation is appropriate, a court will consider several factors set forth in the revised code. You can look it up. It's long and involved. 1, whether the parent and grandparent will be able to cooperate and have a functioning relationship for the benefit of the child. That means no fighting, no arguing, no name-calling, blah, blah, blah. Everybody acts like adults.
Correct.
The child's needs,
Needs, underlined.
The child's preference, which at 12 years old, it's not unheard of for a 12-year-old child to have a preference for a particular dad, okay?
Right.
Especially after all those years.
Correct.
And the grandparent was if the grandparent was abusive to the parent when the parent was a child. And 3, there's any conflict between the parent and grandparent that may create instability for the child's life. I know, reading this legal mumbo jumbo is like dirt. I'm telling you, it's terrible to get through. But the gist of the matter, the point of it, is all a person has to do to keep grandma and grandpa out of a child's life in Washington State is go to the court. If you say you've got a reason, they're separated, they're divorced, the grandparents petition for visitation. I'm going to say the idiot parent goes to court and says no, because the whole time we were married, all I heard about was how horrible this person was as a parent.
Right.
They emotionally abused my spouse. They physically abused my spouse.
Right.
Yeah. So and you can say that if you're willing to take the hit for perjury, like so many people aren't. Yeah. Right. But if you do that, the grandparents are effectively shot out of the water. There's nothing you can do. But how do you disprove a negative?
And that's a heck of a question.
You can't.
It's really it really can't be done.
Right. Your spouse or your child could go to court and say, no, this is not true. My ex and her family are lying. My parents were wonderful, blah, blah, blah. X
Right.
comes back and says, oh, no, they're just saying that because they want to get,
Right.
he wants next to me.
It's what you see a lot of. Oh, they're teaching him, they're coaching them, they're telling them to say that. Look, here's the one thing that I do know: a little child will tell the truth. Period.
Yes, it will.
They're gonna tell you exactly what's happening. They're gonna tell you exactly what's going on, especially those who understand and yet still learning to speak.
Right.
They're gonna be they understand everything that's going on around them, even if they can't verbalize it.
They don't have the words yet.
They don't have the words yet, but they will. They will absolutely let you know exactly what's going on. I mean, it gets to the point where when do you allow a grandparent to say, okay, enough is enough? If this guy is not going to protect their own child, when does the grandparent finally petition the court and say, enough is enough? I'm petitioning the court, and in some instances, I love to see this happen a lot. I'm petitioning the court to take full and sole custody of my grandchild because the situation that she's been living in, is not conducive for him to learn and him or her to learn to thrive.
Right.
It's
well,
not
apparently
working.
the only way that can happen is if you have Maury Schaefer and a 60-minute news crew following, these grandparents around and saying,
Right.
"Oh, see there, they did that."
Get Jesse.
Yeah, get Jesse.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really hard because I'll tell you, as a parent, when I first had my first child, and I had that epiphany of just, oh my God, look what I've got. I can tell you for a fact that if anybody had come to me and said, okay, you've never been in trouble, you've never done anything wrong, but the
Right.
courts are going to say that you have to do X, Y, Z in the best interest of your child and you have no recourse. These mama claws would have come out and I would have been shredding somebody. No, I am this child's parent. I will decide for this child. This is, I made the decision to get pregnant. Yes, all mine were planned, thank you. I made the decision to get pregnant at a good time in my point, and you're not going to tell me I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
But even knowing that that's how most parents feel,
Right.
and it's not just women, fathers feel the same way, that kind of leaves grandma and grandpa out in the cold if they are so inclined to leave them out in the cold. And I'm telling you, I think somebody has to be the adult.
Somebody does. Unfortunately, in a lot of situations, especially in some scenarios, who's right, who's wrong?
I know, just getting my grandson back from his, I'm going to say idiot butt, that's what I call him. And it was cut and dried. There was a parenting plan that he agreed to. He went to court and lied and got a protection order between my daughter and him and the child. And, oh, my Lord, what we had to go through, going back and forth to court, copying this, that, and that, pay these fees, pay that fee, pay this fee, pay that fee to prove that, yes, this is not true. None of the accusations. And the judge, bless her heart,
Right.
Judge Lori, bless your heart, actually said, you're right. I believe you. I do not believe Mr. So-and-so.
Right.
I believe you're telling the truth. And told him you will get this child back to to its mother by 5 p.m. tonight. Oh, we didn't wait. We just got in the car and went over and got him.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll tell you, it don't turn out happy and like that often.
Again, the biggest issue is the child is seeing this.
Yes.
The child is seeing the parents constantly going at each other. The child is seeing one parent or the other parent steady attacking the grandparents, steady attacking pretty much everybody they possibly can get upset and get involved. That's what happens. And unfortunately, no matter how many times you drag a person back in and out of court, 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 it just the results that you would like to see as a parent, the results that you'd like to see as a grandparent doesn't always go in your favor. Now, the one thing that I would caution anybody on, and I'll tell them about, hey, look, you just have to be patient. You have to hang in there. You have to fight a good fight, because here's the reality. If the truth is out there, and the truth is out there in any situation, it's going to come out. it's going to come out on both the insides, and then in the end, there's not going to be an issue. Rather not the grandparents going to have a right. Because the one side who seems to be wrong is either going to win this argument, and then the grandparent is going to be out of the picture totally, or the one side who believe that they're completely fully right, that has the grandparents that wants to be a part of the life, is going to have the grandparents around all the time.
Well, you know what I think they should do, honestly? I've thought about this. It really is a no-win situation.
Really
and
is.
I thought about it. How would it be that if a woman gets pregnant, her parents have the right to submit a prenuptial or prenatal agreement, like a prenuptial agreement that just says that should the relationship fail, as long as the grandparents meet XYZ requirements.
Right. Unfortunately, if you're doing that, you're signing a contract that you're saying that you're going to take partial decision making away from one or the other parent, period.
I know. There's no happy ending to this. There's no.
And unfortunately,
there's no win-win.
Me being a person, being a new dad,
right.
There would be absolutely no way that I would even agree to something like that.
See, I've had mine for years. I can live with them or not. No, I'm
right.
kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Hey, wow.
I love my babies. I do.
But I mean, I wouldn't even sign anything like
right.
that. It's like, okay, wait a minute. So if what you're telling me is, and I just want to make sure that I understand, if me and my significant other can agree on something that on a decision that we're trying to make about our child, the grandparent gets to step in and say, all right, I'm going to make this decision.
No.
Oh.
It would all it would do would be give the grandparents the right in writing to petition the court in the case of, nobody can be a grown up here.
Right.
To go to court and say, this child means this much to me and I would like to have visitation.
Right.
That's all it is.
Well, here's the thing. And this is something that actually came up, and this is something that came up in my girlfriend's divorce case.
I know better to take anything away from the mother.
And I'm not going to speak much about my girlfriend's divorce case, but this is one thing that I will speak about. It got to a point where the guy didn't want the grandparents in so bad that he tried to control whether or not that she can have that the grandparents could have an overnight visit during her visitation time. It's like no, they don't have that right. Excuse me, wait a minute. This is her time. If she deems, if she wants to give up one of her nights to the grandparents or a couple of her nights to the grandparents so they can visit with their grandchild, that's completely, totally left up to her. You absolutely have no right to say, no, no. And I'll put it like that. No, he can't go over there. No, she can't go over there. They don't have that right.
Okay, devil's advocate. Devil's advocate here.
Hold on.
Suppose that same couple, she's letting the grandparents take the child on one of her nights, and the parent that doesn't want them to do this comes back and say, no, she's putting them in an abusive relationship. Prove you weren't.
But that's what okay, so you're saying that if she gives visitation to the grandparents.
Right.
And the grandparents are the one abusing the child?
No, and the parent that's not being the adult.
Right.
Okay. Comes up and says, no, she can't let the grandparents have the baby because they were abusive to her when she was growing up. I don't want my child exposed to them.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
People lie, Troja.
Okay.
People lie.
People can lie, but that's something that it's the burden of proof for you,
but
the individual party.
And it's back to disproving a negative.
It's back. But that still does not give the individual right to stand there. The other parent the right to say, "Hey, you cannot allow your grandchild to go to your. You cannot allow our child to go to the grandparents' house during your visitation time." What?
Yeah.
And even the court stood up and said, "Actually, you have no control of that."
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Even the courts was on the side. Even the courts, and people pay attention. The court said, quote unquote, one parent cannot stop another parent from allowing the grandparents to have overnight visits. Now, they did go on to say that the grandparents doesn't have a right to make a decision about the child.
Right.
But you cannot say, hey, because he's with you, because she's with you during your visitation time, you cannot allow you can't you can't let them go visit the grandparents. No.
Because as long as it's her time, it's her right to make the decisions for
her
the
right
child.
to make the decision for her right to do whatever that she wants to do, make any decision she wants to make. He can make any decision he wants to make regarding the child during his visitation time. It doesn't matter. Each parent has the right to make their own decision, and the beauty of that is the other parent, whether it's him, whether it's her, they have to live with it. Period.
That would be kind of hard too. I can tell you that right off.
Oh yeah, it would be a hard thing, because you're going to still have that constant battle of, well, I don't want them there. Well, it's not your decision.
We have our society right now. The situation that we find ourselves in is there are so many grandparents raising children out there right now. They're raising children because of death in the family.
Yes.
A military member, for an example. Passes, grandma and grandpa raising the baby. They're raising the baby because of, and this is a huge one, incarceration.
Big one
in this state. And I got to tell you, grandparents are stepping up and doing the responsible thing, I guess, because, I don't know, we're older and thinking that this is the way we want to do things. We want to be adults. We want to think of the best interest for the child. And there isn't even a whole lot of help out there for grandparents who are stepping up to do this.
No.
And, when they get out, say they're for being incarcerated, do you have to just hand the baby back?
Unfortunately, if the paternal parent hasn't lost the rights to their child, you have to give the child.
So that would
back.
require like a violent offense.
If it wasn't something that if it wasn't an offense towards a child, unfortunately, if it wasn't an offense towards a minor, if it didn't endanger a minor at all, and this is Washington State, you absolutely have to give the child back because they didn't lose rights to their child.
That's a teeny bit broad.
You have to give them back.
Teeny bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like
Sad
I
to
said,
say.
I'll tell you, I absolutely, positively understand a parent's point of view. When I was a young mom and I had my babies, I absolutely had my claws out if I thought anybody was remotely trying to interfere with my relationship with my children, the way I thought they should be raised, the way I thought they should believe, whatever. I'll come after you. I would come after you. And that's right. That's a parent should be like that.
And you know what, Susan? Here's what gets me. Why would you not want to have the grandparents in the child's life? Why would you want to try to remove a grandparent out of a child's life? First and foremost, you have the grandparent here who wants to be a part of this child's life. And just think, if you have this grandparent who's willing to step up and be and to think about those times where you want to have a break. All right, let's just face it. We all get tired. We all feel that we need a break. We all feel we need to have a night. That doesn't mean we don't love our child.
No.
It just means that
you're human.
Grandma, Grandpa, can you please watch them tonight so we can have our time, a full night's sleep. Can we go out and just have a night, go out dance and do whatever. We all would like to have that night from time to time. It happens. The one thing that I wish things were the way they were when I was growing up. I know you're a little bit older than me. You're not much older than me, but you're a little bit older than me. But you're not a woman who's afraid to say your age, are you?
I'm mid-50s.
Okay, all right. So you're mid-50s. Okay, so I just turned 40. All right. Okay. So, but we can still relate to a generation where the parents were the parents.
Yeah.
But the grandparents ruled. Bottom line.
I
mean, the grandparents, I remember back growing up down south, the grandparents, there was mom and dad, but then there was the grandparents. And even if you didn't agree with what mom and dad said and the grandparents said, well, I think you should let the child do this, guess what? Overruled.
And I'll tell you something. It didn't matter. It's one thing to piss off your parents. Okay, that was one thing.
It's bad to piss off the
It's
grandparents.
a whole nother dimension to piss off a grandparent in the South. I mean, you just don't do it.
You just didn't do it.
No,
you didn't do it.
Well, you cared about, that you don't embarrass a family name, and you behave appropriately. And people raise their kids to be respectful. People raise their kids to be nice. Okay, this is a wide definition here, but he's going to do it. He's going to do it, and I'm going to
really seriously, really,
yep.
really,
yep.
Really? All right.
Somebody's been enjoying St. Patty's already. On the other side of the glass.
For those of y'all wondering what's going on.
Yeah, you tell them. I can't.
We have K-Dog who's coming to the studio, and he's
just a few minutes.
He'll be coming in, and obviously the Outlaw Radio Network will be coming on with St. Paul, the voice of reading, K-Dog, the occasional loose cannon. They'll be coming in here in a few more minutes, and K-Dog is flashing us his man boobs.
And boy, I'm so jealous.
Oh man, love you, K-Dog.
Yeah. It could be worse. I remember a few weeks ago when he flashed. It wasn't his man boobs.
Well, it wasn't his man boobs, but we got the full moon. But
didn't we?
I'm just wondering.
Moon over Miami.
Just from now on, just when y'all call into the radio show, say Ghost Peppers.
Oh yeah, Ghost Peppers. Ghost Peppers. That was choice.
Just say Ghost Peppers.
That was choice. It was really awesome. Well, I'll tell you what. I really. And see, we got about 10 minutes.
No, we
here?
got about 10 minutes. We got about 10 more minutes. You know, I mean, I think what we really want the listeners to understand and get across to them is there are some things that are sacred.
Yes.
And it is very important that a child, if a grandparent is willing to be in their life,
and they're not weird.
They're not
weird.
Normal. They're normal. It is absolutely important to have the grandparents in the grandchild's life.
That payback is phenomenal. Down the road, that payback is just phenomenal. And I'll tell you, if you love your child, and the grandparents are normal, whatever that means anymore.
Well, whatever normal means nowadays.
In your book, they're normal people. What parent would not want their child to have as large a safety net in this world, this uncertain world we live in today, as humanly possible?
Right.
What are you going to say, oh, no, I don't want you in because I don't like your daughter or I don't like your son? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to want a night piece too, honey.
Mm-hmm.
You watch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true.
It's going to happen.
It's true. I know. And it's, like I said, it's a really hard decision to make. There's no black or white. There's no right or wrong. There's no cut and dry. Because parents, what your rights are involving your children is sacrosanct. That is carved in stone. You made that commitment when you got pregnant.
Absolutely.
And kept it.
Absolutely.
You made that decision. And I don't think, God, country, or anybody should step in the way as long as that child is not being harmed. But I got to tell you, to just willingly and with malice aforethought to cut out what could be a huge safety net and a huge exposure basis for your child to grow up with, I think that's pretty slim. I mean, that's not right.
Here's food for thought. Just imagine if something happened to both parents, and now the grandparent has got to step in. But this child doesn't even know its grandparents. The state don't even know that there was grandparents involved. No one is able to even link this kid to anybody else. Now the state's got to step in and take over.
I'll tell you something. This happened to me back in Kansas, and then were the Bible Belt.
Oh yeah,
the mid-50s, right?
Mid-50s, it's still like that. Trust me.
A judge ruled both of my parents, to be unfit parents, which did not happen back then. It was bad. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
It had to get bad.
It was bad. And the judge sent us to live with our paternal grandparents, who we didn't know from Adam. And at this point, I'm like 2.5. And it was not good. It was not good. It was not pleasant. It was not good for anybody. Of course, she wasn't exactly what I would call the model of normalcy,
Well, how normal can it be down south?
I mean remember, she raised one of the parents that the judge said was unfit. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. So
okay.
it's yeah. But I'm telling you, it's a horrible feeling for the child, and I'm just saying it. I'm just mentioning it because it's relevant to what we're talking about. if that happens, if a parent, the parents die, God forbid, in a car accident or a plane crash or something like this, or stadium collapses on them, where's that baby going to go? And will they even know who these people are? And should they? I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
They definitely should know whether yes. But unfortunately, should the parents know where the child's at? Yes, they should. But, and I throw that "but" in there because there have been times where the child, where the parent found out where the child is, and guess what? And now instead of the child being protected, it's even in more danger, along with the parents or the foster home or whatever that the child was taken to.
Right,
so,
which is a big part of why we have an Amber Alert system now.
Yes,
and it does work.
It does work.
Well, I'll tell you, I want to really, really thank you for coming in today and helping me with this topic, because it is muddy. It is. There's just no clean. Take a shower, everything shiny. There's no good answer for anybody. There really isn't. But you do have options. If you're a grandparent looking for grandparent rights, go online. Look up GROW, G-R-O-S. G-R-O-S. It's a grandparents' rights organization. There's a lot of parents' rights organizations out there, too. So do your homework. Do your homework. Now, hi. There's people on the other side of the glass here you guys can't see. But we have joining us in the studio. You said before you wanted to do the...
You sat down.
Yeah.
Man. You sat down. You got to talk now.
We have the ever lovely... I don't ever talk to you online, Kevin Chambers.
Can you get Kevin's mic? Oh, it feels so great to be able to say that. Can you turn K-Dog's mic on, please?
Yeah.
You know, in all the time I've been doing this, I don't think I've ever had to ask to have my mic turned on.
Really? Well, you know, put it up there right in front of your mouth. You know what to do.
Yeah. I'm new to this. I don't. Is this thing on?
That was fun.
Does this work?
That was fun. But
how was the show?
It was good. It was really good. I lost a guest that I was going to have, and Trojo was really sweet to step in and help me out because he has some of the similar experiences my guest had. I know, you sweet puppy.
You know what's funny? I'll give you a funny observation I made to Strip and Lurch when I came into studio tonight. You know, Outlaw has had a really hard time asking Trojo to come in anytime before like 9:30 for the show normally, but the week that they have the baby and he's expected to change diapers, bam, he's in here at 5 o'clock. I just want to say I don't know what changed.
I was actually
idiot. You're not.
Dedication to the show.
Wait. Let me just tell you, I was supposed to be here at 6. I didn't get here till 6:10, so I was still late.
Yep.
At least you hold true there.
But you are, of course, along with St. Paul, the voice of reason.
When he gets here, is he here?
I haven't seen him.
No. Okay.
But
well,
you are the hosts of
Outlaw Radio Network. Yeah, we'll kick off here in a couple of minutes. I talked to Paul earlier today, and I've decided that we're going to do a. I'm not going to tell a lie.
Yeah, so that's going to be good.
For 4 hours tonight in tonight's show, I will not fib in the slightest.
I'm going home getting in line.
I will not lie. I will not.
I got to see this.
I will not spin. I will not put any justification. I will be completely 100% truthful for 4 full hours.
Wow.
Now, this scares me for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, it should scare all of you.
Yeah.
One, because I know my co-host, who takes great joy in trying to embarrass me. So,
yes.
I know that he's prepared for this, and he is probably planning things to result in my imminent demise.
No doubt.
And two, and probably more importantly, I know after I put this on Facebook this afternoon, it occurred to me that I have a lot of friends and ex-girlfriends. So I realized that this may not have been.
They might call in and put you on the spot there.
They may.
Can I ask one favor of you?
You may.
At some point tonight, would you please play that video of the North Koreans' American propaganda video? It's not very long. It's not very long.
The one that's in our chat room.
I believe so. Yes,
yeah.
It is. Yeah. I saw it on Facebook a couple of days ago, and I laughed till tears ran down my leg. It was just amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
You know, one of the things we are going to talk about tonight is the North Korean situation, which the video is hilarious.
Oh yes.
The situation that we are seeing develop on the Korean Peninsula is one that sooner, probably rather than later, is going to need to be addressed.
Yes.
And it's probably going to be addressed in the form of American blood. And the North Korean government, there's a strong amount of saber rattling going on by them. There was an American lawmaker we'll talk about who just earlier, within the last 24 hours, I believe, was on national news shows talking about how he believes that Kim Jong-un is mentally imbalanced. Now, that may or may not be true. There's
Why not? His daddy was.
Well, but there's some question as to the rationale of why would you, as an elected representative, go on national television and make these comments
That's
when
a
you
bit
know that the dude
strong.
is really 2 nuggets short of a Happy Meal in the first place.
And really angry with you to start with.
And you're going to push him to continue this idea that he has to be. This is kind of like Castro to me in the 60s, where it's all about posturing. So
Yeah, this should be interesting. Y'all stay tuned. I hope you had a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. I'll see you next week, 5 o'clock, right here on EdgeMediaSource.com. I'm Susan Corcoran. It's The Raw Nerve. Bye-bye.
All right.